Hello, everybody. I believe that we are on the Montreal Canadiens. And tonight they played the Ottawa Senators. They were in the Canadian Tire Center. And oh boy, was it a really boring. Um, yeah, I don't know. Sorry, boys. I just got to look on. Big fan of it at all. Hey, Gabriel, how's it going, my guy? Good evening to you too, my good sir. Yeah, the really at all. It was a game that the Canadians should have easily blown out the Senators. Easily. We were playing a third string goaltender, and we were playing probably one of the worst defenses and one of the worst bottom sixes in the National Hockey League. Yeah. So opening lines for the Canadians were Pitlick, Suzuki Anderson, Dadonov, Doc Hoffman, Dvorak, Beck, Ullinen, and Harvey Pinard, Belzile, Pezzetta. Matheson, Savard, Jack-Eye, Barron, and Harris Kovacevic were our defense pairings. Montembeault gets a start in net tonight, thankfully, and Jake Allen backs him up after a fairly decent return to the net against Detroit. The opening lines for the Senators were Brady Tkachuk, Tim Stützle, and Mathieu Joseph. DeBrincat, Greg Giroux, Brassard, Pinto, Batherson, and Mott, Gambrell, Watson. Shabbat, Holden, Sanderson, Hamonic, and Brandstrom, Zaitsev were the defense pairings. Anton Forsberg would be in net. He is going back-to-back. He also played last night in Toronto. And Kevin Mandales backs him up as he's been an AHL guy all year. But with Cam Talbot out, he needs to be the backup for now. Before the game, speaking of called-ups, Owen Beck has been recalled on emergency basis as Joel Edmondson was out with an injury. He will make his NHL debut at 18 years old. So Owen Beck called up from the Peterborough Petes in the OHL. Going to be interesting to see if he sticks around. I thought he had a pretty all right NHL debut. He had a couple decent shifts, played all right. I'm excited to see if we keep him around for another game. I'm assuming we will. I don't think guys like Monahan are going to be back by the next game on Tuesday, which is also against the Ottawa Senators. So I'm expecting another very, very boring Habs win. But yeah. So the Habs, NZA, Bedard, man, hell yeah. Habs played fast early on. Both teams actually had pretty solid speed. Matheson with a glove to the face of DeBrincat, who dives. No penalty on the play to either man. Beck with his first NHL shift. Interestingly enough, the lines at first went 1-2-4-3. So we actually put Beck's line as the last line to get a shift. Interesting enough. Pretty good rush for Beck. Both teams then back and forth. Anderson with two. Anderson with two nice wristers on net. Sens go back the other way. I believe DeBrincat gets a shot. So does Claude Giroux. Habs then started to pressure. Doc with great chances. A wide open net, but that just goes wide. Almost open the scoring. Then Alex Belzile goes off the crossbar. Good fourth line rush. We were getting looks. Habs were in control early on. Habs with some more push. Fourth line was checking very well. Sends off the other way. They had speed. There's a couple of shots. Monty saves them. I put there's a few shots. Monty able to make them. Apparently, Montembeault was generating shots. Pinto's line then pushed for the Senators. There were a couple near chances. Then we went 5 minutes without a whistle. Or we were about 5 minutes without a whistle at this point. Both teams played with speed. There was a bit of physicality. Mott then bounced right off Jack-Eye. Jack-Eye just stood there. Mott bounced off him. I put great one by 72 to just stand still because that's really all he did. Doc then with a nice shift on his line. Left circle, he has space. He elects to pass. Puck gets back to him, but that's off the post. Could have made it 2-0 if Belzile's crossbar and Doc's post had counted. Would have been nice. Sends back the other way. There's a couple chances. No goals, though. Mott then gets on a break. A good defensive play by Jack-Eye to break that up quickly. Habs pushed the other way. They just tried to keep it slow in the last minute 30. Suzuki then had the puck entering the zone with a minute. With barely a second left. Wasn't able to get a shot, unfortunately. So the shots are 10-8 for the Senators, but it's a tie game of scoreless. After 20 minutes of scoreless tie game. A player that isn't Stützle diving against the Habs way more mind-blowing than Xbox Series X. Yes, it is, NZA. Absolutely. Then the Sens score. Habs got a shot on net in the opening seconds. But yeah, it's a 2-on-1. Alex DeBrincat will put it home. Jack-Eye was interfered with by Ridley Gregg. And there's no penalty because the referees don't like Montreal, apparently. yeah, so it's a 2-on-1. DeBrincat puts it home, and they're off to a very early 1-0 lead in the second period. Sens then put some work over. Montembeault was keeping us in this one at this stage. Habs then tried to push, but then there's a PK for us. Mike Hoffman goes to the box for slashing. Habs ended up with a couple good chances before that slashing had taken place. We actually thought that it was apparently Doc that was going to go to the box. We thought he had gotten tangled up. He was held down. There was no penalty for holding or interference or unsportsmanlike. Hoffman's going to the box out of that. It was kind of weird. Sens push, but there's a couple looks. Shorthanded, Suzuki finds Anderson, and he misses short side. Yeah, Anderson I thought had a pretty okay game. There were a couple looks a couple shifts he looked great. A couple like this one where he just didn't look like he really cared. We were 1-4 on the PK tonight, and then the Sens immediately go right back. Literally, it's like as soon as Mike Hoffman steps on the ice, play is blown. Doc is called for a trip. Unfortunately, Habs tried to clear. Harvey Pinard actually looked to get a shorthanded chance. I believe he had Pizzetta with him. Might have been Belzile. But the Sens score. A terrible play. Puck somehow gets through traffic. Claude Giroux is going to make it 2-0 for the Ottawa Senators. He has 2 points on the night. He had an assist on the game-opening goal. Blues before lottery are projected to pick 8th. Darkness, they'll probably finish 10th. I think it's on a breakaway. Doesn't even get a shot. Rem Pitlick has played like shit the past 4 games. Since he had 4 points in 2 games, we're saying over the past 4 games, there is no one that's coasting. Rem Pitlick is the sole guy that is coasting on this. And I don't get why he's still on that top line with Nick Suzuki and Josh Anderson. Even Josh Anderson, while I might not like that he's on the top line, I can at least understand he has a decent shot in the games he's played, and 4 of them came within a 2-game span. So realistically, he has a point in 24 games this year, if you exclude those 2 games. Yeah. Remember the Suns fucker said if you live in Ottawa and you're a Habs fan, you're a complete loser. Lindsay, the fact that you do, I think, shows that bothers you a little bit more, because it doesn't really bother me. Because he's the fucking troll. Then it's 3-0 Ottawa. Claude Giroux gets credit for it. It goes off the skate of Arbor Jacki. It's in the net. Giroux tried to set up Ridley Gregg to return the favor because Gregg had passed Giroux the puck on that 2-0 goal. But it's off Arbor Jacki. So technically the Habs did score tonight, but it was into their own net. Yeah, Sens then pushed. Habs couldn't even get line changes in. Really just weren't able to. Sens ended up icing the puck after a bit. Doc has a great hit on Shabbat. The only reason I brought it up because I still find it very funny. All right, NZ, that's good. But Doc, great hit on Shabbat in the corner. You love to see it. Hitting him right in the numbers. No penalty on the play. Love to see it. Sens push. We aren't able to get anything. Sens had pure control at this point. NZA, that was probably the joke because he is a Sens fan living in Montreal. That's probably why it was supposed to be a joke, I'm pretty sure, because, yeah. Then the Habs finally go into the power play. Mathieu Joseph ends up high sticking. I believe it was Justin Barron. I don't think it was Harris. I think it was Barron. Habs couldn't get much. There's a couple bad looks for the Habs. Sens with a near 2-on-1 shorthanded break, but they don't get much. We are 0-for-1 on the power play. Habs then push. Great chances on Anton Forsberg. We could not score on a third-string goaltender. He was absolutely stoning us. Just really, really good looks for the Canadiens. And Anton Forsberg with the shutout through 2 periods. The shots are 25-24 for the Senators, and it's a 3-0 lead as well for them. Habs top line had some looks in the opening minute of the third. We just could not find much on net. We couldn't really finish. Yeah, and the Sens fans are pretty annoying, I will say, except for Luca and then sometimes Oakley. Yeah, for the most part, a lot of Sens fans are really just kind of annoying. I mean, for one, they're fans of a team in Ottawa. 2, they want Ryan Reynolds to buy their team. 3, Eugene Melnyk is dead. And I don't know if you guys saw that on stream too, but my image just flipped for a split second. And 4, they support a team in Ottawa. Hey, don't worry. Kind of hoping Canucks can jump St. Louis and Montreal. Darkness, I get that because Canucks usually aren't that great at drafting unless surprisingly it's in the top 10. But I don't know why you want us to jump us. I don't know why you want them to jump us, but yeah. Then there's a good pass from Brassard to Drake Batherson. Montembeault makes the save though. Habs push and they'll get a power play as a result. Barron is called for delay of game, puck over glass. That's just a stupid penalty. You don't need to take it. And it's a penalty that is token. Sens pushed, Habs cleared out. Really not much to talk about. I want y'all to get a better pick than Vancouver. Oh, okay. So you want Montreal and St. Louis to jump Vancouver? That's what you mean. Because jumping us would mean getting ahead in the standings, technically. But like for what you want to happen, like you want St. Louis, Montreal to jump the Vancouver Canucks. I don't know, Darkness. Vancouver has one more Stanley Cup than you guys, so yeah. I don't know. I don't know. Can't even make the joke. They have one more Stanley Cup Finals than you. 2011-94. Yeah. They have one more Stanley Cup Final than you. So eat that, St. Louis fans. Eat that. So we're 2 for 3 on the PK. Habs top line is trying to get just anything. Anderson has 2 really solid hits on Stützle. No need to dive there. No, Darkness, you've been to 4. You were in the Cup Finals your first 3 years in the league because pity finals, and then 2019. So you've actually been to 4. But we don't count the first 3 because anybody in that division could have made it to the Stanley Cup Finals. But Anderson, 2 great hits on Stützle. He doesn't need to dive for those. You love seeing it. Habs get some looks. Fourth line is attempting to just get anything. We don't count the pre-expansion cups then? No, we don't, Darkness, because the pre-expansion cups, it was actually competitive. It was just Montreal, Boston, Rangers, and Toronto all going at it with each other. So, yeah, I would say, if anything, the first 10 years of expansion, we shouldn't count. From 67 to 71, we shouldn't count. From that. From right after the Flyers won their first 2 cups, that's when we should start counting the expansion cups, I think, in my opinion. Vancouver's had more cup final rights than St. Louis. That is true. They haven't. So is Montreal. Shut the hell up, phone. I don't know why my phone. Because Rogan Internet Man's live, so fuck this. I'm going to make this really quick because I want to watch some Rogan Internet Man. If you guys have not checked him out, he's a very, very funny YouTuber. Some of you guys might like him. Very, 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 very funny humor. The shots are 11, or sorry, not that badly. They are 7-0 for the Senators with 9 minutes to play. Our fourth line was just trying to get something. Habs didn't go to the power play. It's Shabbat for holding. My only note is literally Habs fucking suck. Sens cleared any chance they could. We couldn't even enter the zone. We couldn't get past neutral. It was just we would try and we get stripped and it's sent down, or we'd be able to get in and immediately lose it and it's sent down. We couldn't get set up. We are 0 for 2 in the power shot of the third. The Lightning cards on fire. Person flipping apart. It's I don't know, NZA, because police need to do their job, and if you flip over their car, they can't do that. Cars, you can just replace one, can't do their job, and if it's a murder, I would argue that flipping a police car is worse. You could have an argument for both, though. If the people are in the car when it's lit on fire, then technically the lighting the car on fire is worse. But if there's nobody inside the car, then it depends if there's an animal. If there's not an animal, then if there's literally nothing in the car, and there's optics. There's optics you got to talk about at that point. Beck's lining up out there when we had our first shot. If the Sabres win, the Sabres are in Pittsburgh. Oh, the Sabres are in Pittsburgh. When are the games tonight? They're beating the Wild 2-1 right now. That is an absolute W. Oh my God, the Sharks. Logan, delete your franchise. Wow. San Jose is okay. Wow. Lightning, who had a 5-point night for them? Nick Perbix had a 3-assist night. Nick Perbix has actually been pretty solid. I've liked Nick Perbix so far. I thought he's been pretty good. The Islanders managed to beat the Vegas Golden Knights. Thank you, Islanders. All right, and now Buffalo. Who has scored for Buffalo? Literally 2 people have points. Zemgus Girgensons and Jack Quaid have goals. I love it. Thank you. Actually, NZA, both are, you could say both are equally bad for sure. I would potentially make that. I would potentially say that for sure. I would possibly say that. All right, sorry boys. I just gotta look up stuff that's going on. Yeah. All right. So there we go. To be honest, I did not expect Beck to make his debut at all tonight nor this season. Yeah, NZA. I don't think many of us expected him to make his Habs debut this season. I don't think many of us expected it this season. I think a lot of us were expecting, okay, either he'll make the lineup next year because he did have a really good preseason, or he'll come up for like a 9-game trial and then boom, back to the OHL or the AHL or whatever for him for the year. And then the year after he makes his debut, it's like his full-time like Habs debut. But it's looking like if he impresses, he might be here to say. I don't know if he will be, because like that Laval line has been pretty good, and so you're not going to send down Alex Belzile. And even if you do, someone's probably going to claim him. They're going to look at, hey, four assists in 4 games. We could use that. So you're obviously, if anything, you're going to want to trade him. But at this point, Habs fans, I think, like Alex Belzile, so you might not want to deal him, but maybe you will. I don't know how we're going to do that. But yeah, no, I think Owen Beck definitely is the most likely guy to get sent down when guys like Monahan and Armia and Gallagher end up coming back to the lineup. But we'll see. We'll see what happens there. Pretty pissed Boston choked the lead to Florida. Florida tied with 2 seconds left. I did see that, Gabriel, and I hate Boston because they fucking let the Panthers win off an own goal. Darkness, I agree. Boston is washed. They've lost 2 games now. Gabriel, first time since April 22, Boston's lost 2 in a row. Damn, Gabriel. Hey, Suns, how's it going, my guy? Thank you for coming by. Let's go. Hell yeah. Glad to see you guys are in here. All right. The Habs then Habs pull Montembeault with 5 minutes left. We actually pushed. There was about a minute 40 straight of chances for the Canadiens. We got, I believe, 3 or 4 pretty good shots, actually. Canadiens weren't doing too bad for themselves. And then we go to the power play. Hamonic gets called for a trip after the minute 40 of pressure. Hoffman's off the post, and then there's another post. The fact that San Jose scored an empty net goal and still lost in OT. No, they did not, Gabriel. Wait, no, they didn't. Yeah, no, they literally didn't lose, Gabriel. Yeah, no, they won tonight. They beat the Penguins. Yeah, I'm looking it up right now. Yeah, right here. It says Sharks won 6-4. Unless somehow that's not accurate and they actually lost. Oh, last game against Carolina. Oh. Well, I mean, it's Carolina, so like, yeah. Pretty sure Beck will go to Laval or back to the OHL whenever the injured guys. NZ, I'm pretty sure he has to go back to the OHL because he's 18. And 18-year-olds can't play in Laval or the AHL, I should say. Not just Laval. Can't play in the AHL because of that weird thing where, like, if they're junior players, they have to go to the OHL. Yeah, it's really weird, NZA. But yeah, no, he'll probably get sent back down to Pureborough, and then I honestly would bank on Owen Beck making the Habs lineup next year. Whether it's on, or no, I'm thinking of Philip Mazar. I think Beck is very close to being an NHLer though, but Philip Mazar next year, Philip Mazar making the NHL. I would put money down on that if I could. Philip Mazar had a preseason for the Canadiens. Habs fans, Jets fans getting shut up by bottom 10 teams in the league by 3+ goals. Fajo, you see the difference is we got beat by a worse team. Philadelphia has John Tortorella, so you can at least use that as an excuse to why you lost. We just got beat by the fucking worst team in the National Hockey League. So yeah, rooting so fucking hard for Buffalo. Gabriel, me too, my guy. I legit, after this game ends, I'm gonna watch the Royal Rumble and probably put on the Sabres game. NCAA, me too. I would be very surprised if Philip Mazar does not play in the NHL next year for at least the 9-game trial. Like, I think they will at the very least give him a bit of a trial. After the deadline, I wouldn't be surprised if we see Owen Beck coming back up, because if he's not sent down, by the deadline, or if he is sent down by the deadline, called back up, I wouldn't be surprised to see Owen Beck come back up after the deadline. Maybe Philip Mazar. I don't think we'd call it beyond Misak, because, like, probably potentially Armia. I don't know if anybody's going to want that contract, but we'll see. We'll see. Anderson probably is going to be gone because there's a team that'll overpay for him. Maybe Sean Monahan. I don't want to trade Sean Monahan, but if there's like an offer you cannot refuse, like if someone's willing to give up like a first and a good prospect, maybe you do what I've suggested in the past, trade him and then just sign him and bring him back in the offseason. That I'd be fine with. That's the only way I'd be fine with trading Sean Monahan. Maybe Brendan Gallagher, because I don't know if anybody is going to really take on that contract. I feel like that's at least a first-round pick to trade out Brendan Gallagher's contract. We were witnessing a very, very slow decline in Brendan Gallagher's game, and it's genuinely depressing how fucking bad he is. But yeah, these guys are traded. I wouldn't be surprised. I wouldn't be surprised after the deadline to see Philip Mazar, Owen Beck, guys like that come up. You know, some of the young, more than likely for the rest of the year. Hey, look, only one Cole's still playing. Yeah, Fazio, Cole Caulfield did play tonight. He was so good. I would believe that it's Cole Caulfield because Cole Perfetti did jack shit tonight. Yeah. But yeah, I agree. He was really good. Want to see Farrell play too. Gabriel, I think we would be able to sign Sean Farrell after the trade deadline, but I don't know how many years left of college he has, like for classes and all that. So I don't know if he would want to sign right now. I don't know if he's one of those smart players that wants to finish their education, then come over to the NHL or AHL, wherever he'll play first. Probably the AHL for at least a couple games. Or if he's one of those smart players that knows how good they are and signs now to at least get a tryout in the NHL. I don't know if he's one of those types of player. I don't know which type of player he is, but I would like to see Sean Farrell at some point. Who knows? Maybe he signs in the offseason. Either way, I would like to see I would actually like to see Sean Farrell in the NHL, whether it's sometime after the deadline this year or next year. I would like to see Sean Farrell. This January month fucked with their trade deadline. How so, Fazio? Are you still first in your division? I couldn't think of the word for a second. Like, I look at the NHL standings real quick. Okay, you're second. I mean, that's not bad. Like, I don't see how that messes with your trade deadline. Hey, Paul, how's it going, my guy? Long time no see, indeed. No, long time no seed? No, long time no see, indeed. Does Edmonton's injury mean Habs won't be able to trade him? Paul, it depends how long he's out for, because we are still, I think, over a month. Yeah, March 3rd. We are just over a month away from the deadline happening. As long as he's not out for over a month, like, I'm pretty sure if he comes back for like the last game or two before the deadline, at the very least, we should be able to trade him. Or if we take him off the IR, for example, I think we should be able to trade him. I'm pretty sure we would be able to deal him out of Montreal. So I don't think him being injured really hurt, because like we've seen guys. Yeah, actually, true. We've seen not Nathan Gerbe, the Maple Leafs. Like 2 years ago, they acquired someone who was on LTIR, and then he played for the Maple Leafs. Nick Foligno trade. I don't think it was straight up the Nick Foligno trade. I know it was the trade. Yeah, David Rittich. It wasn't David Rittich. Stefan Nason? No. I'm trying to remember who the it might have been Stefan Nason. It might have been Nathan Gerbe, actually. Okay, I've got to look up the Maple Leafs trade history. Toronto Maple Leafs trade history. Because I gotta find that Nick Foligno deal. Foligno. Yeah, so it was not Ben Hutton. It might have been Stefan Nason. It might have actually been Stefan Nason. So I definitely think that, or no, I think it was David Rittich, actually. I'm pretty sure it was David Rittich, because I think he only got one game in the Maple Leafs. He got 4 games. Sorry, he got 4 games with the Maple Leafs. But yeah, you can trade guys who are currently injured. It doesn't really it doesn't really matter if he's injured or not, actually. So yeah. But thank you, Paul, for the question. I appreciate it. We see the entire team to jack shit tonight, Fazio. Well, Fazio, just like the Habs, the difference is Habs are actually a cup contender compared to the Jets. We are. Bad back injury history. No, Paul, I don't think the market for Edmonton is tanked at all. Because, like, again, if Ben Sherratt can get a first round pick, I'm trying to find like the right now. There we go. If Ben Sherratt can get a first round pick, Joel Edmondson can easily get a first round pick. Absolutely can get a first round pick. There is no doubt about it that Joel Edmondson should be able to get a first round pick if Ben Sherratt was able to. An unprotected first round pick to boot. Listen, Ken Hughes shouldn't give a shit about if Edmondson is injured. He probably doesn't. He probably still will be able to, yeah. Screw the team getting him unless it's the Jets trying to get a D-man. I agree, Fazio. I just saw an Insta post that's NTA, whose Instagram did it come from? Because depending on who it came from, will tell me whether or not it's like actually reputable or not. Oh, it was RDS. Oh, damn. Okay, if RDS tweeted it out, I don't know why you had to put the ellipses there, but yeah, if RDS put it out on Instagram, then yeah. So yeah, Owen Beck is expected to come back, or is expected to go back down to the Peterborough Preats. Honestly, I'm fine with that. Just get him the one game in the NHL. You know, he made his NHL debut. That's fine. You know, there's no need to rush him. Dude's 18 years old. There's no guarantee that he's gonna play. There's no guarantee that he, was gonna play incredible. Might have played like shit tonight. Might have played really good. I think it probably was just for a one game thing. Like, hey, all right, we need somebody who's not waiver eligible. You know what? Let's give Owen Beck a try. Because like Philip Mazar, for example, like if we wanted to call him up, say, I'm pretty sure he's over in Europe. I think. So it's more of he might be in Laval. I gotta look up to make sure, but I'm pretty sure he's playing in Europe right now. No, he's actually in the OHL. So we could have actually called up Philip Mazar if we had wanted to. But yeah, like still, either way, it was probably like we needed a center because like Dvorak, sure he can play. Belzil's been good the third line to someone who can trust. You have Doc, Dvorak, and Belzil. You could have gone with the right winger, but Jesse Ulan, and do you really want to play him on the left wing when his primary position is the right wing spot? I think Owen Beck just did make more sense to call up over Philip Mazar anyways. Oh, he might be a second line center in the NHL. Do your best to go out there, whatever, Yeah, the Owen Sound Attack Fuzz. Yeah, when you said Owen Beck, I swear to God, I remember a city named Owen Beck, and they have a team in the OHL. Yeah, no, it's the Owen Sound Attack. Yeah. Do Habs have a strength and conditioning problem? All these injuries suggest there may be an issue. Paul, it could be yes. I think yes and no. Because keep in mind, I gotta look up the Canadiens, Montreal Canadiens versus Ottawa Senators lines. Actually, wait, no, I wanted to go to Habs Eyes on the Prize. Yeah, because they'll have the game thread right here. Yeah, so like all the guys that are out for the Canadiens right now, Yoel Armia has an injury problem or has persisting injuries in the past. Paul Byron persisting in the past. Cole Caulfield, he got injured twice and both were kind of freak accidents. Jonathan Drouin, injury history. Joel Edmondson, injury history. Jake Evans, really only the Scheifele thing is, as far as we know, known. It's kind of that one you could probably say is maybe a strength and conditioning issue. Brendan Gallagher, big time injury history. Caden Gooley, you could probably say that. Yaroslavkovsky, you could probably say strength and conditioning, bit of an issue there. Sean Monahan, bit of injury history there. So I like three guys out of the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 guys that are currently out of the lineup that are injured. Chris Weidman would make it 11, but he was only a healthy scratch. Out of the 10 guys that are actually injured right now for the Canadiens, only 3 of them really don't have a history of being injured. 4 if you kind of want to count Jake Evans, because I guess you could. So yeah, 4 out of 10 guys that are currently hurt who don't have an injury history, because like 2 of them are 18, 20 years old and they haven't had many injuries in their career so far, obviously. I don't necessarily know if I would say I don't know if I'd necessarily say it's a strength and conditioning problem, Paul. I would say it's more so we can't really avoid hits sometimes issue, which is a thing that every team has. So like, I don't think it's a strength and conditioning thing. I think it's just more so Habs are getting the shit end of the stick right now. Again, Byron, Armia, Drouin, Gallagher, Edmondson. These guys are known to have issues with staying healthy. Caulfield, this is a thing where he was injured twice and he technically could have played through it, but it was a case of better to shut him down at this point and just let him be 100% next year, most likely. Caden Gooley and Yaroslavkovsky. Slavkovsky, I believe it's the same. It's a similar thing to Caulfield, where he could have played through it, I think, but they decided to shut him down. He's out for I think 3 months from the time his injury was announced. I think now it's about 2 months. And Caden Gooley, same thing. Just might have been able to play. So, yeah. Injury history would suggest you put more emphasis on strength and conditioning, not less. Well, Paul, we still might be putting more emphasis on strength and conditioning, but the human body, no matter how much conditioning you can try and put on it, will still break down. There's still the fuck. How do I put this? There's still the human element. It's kind of, I guess, the best way for me to put it. There's still that human element that you have to take a look at and say, hey, my body's really conditioned well to this, but you hit me here, I'm still going to get injured. I'm going to break. There's still that human element where, sure, okay, yeah, 10 injuries is definitely a lot. Armia got a fucking elbow to the ribs. That's going to hurt. Paul Byron's had, I think it's something with his thigh that's been bugging him all summer, I believe it was. Drouin, I don't remember. I don't think they even came out with what it was. I think they said it's an upper body injury. It might be a wrist issue again because he's had 3 or 4 issues with his wrist in the past. Joel Edmondson, I believe it was a hip issue as well. Gallagher, probably a wrist issue because he's had like 18 different wrist issues or hand issues in the past. Sean Monahan, I think a lower body injury. A lot of these guys, all of these guys are injury prone. All these guys have at least an injury a year, it feels like, Gallagher was used to fucking at least once a year getting a slapper in the hand from Shea Weber, and he'd be out like a month at the very least usually, So like you can put more emphasis on strength and conditioning. You can put the most emphasis on strength and conditioning in the league. Guys are still going to get hurt. Guys are still going to get involved in collisions that are going to take them out. And I don't think strength and conditioning is really super, super important right now because you still have guys that are in the lineup that are going to be producing for you. And you are going to need that come playoff time when you have guys that are getting injured out there. If this is the playoffs right now, for example, Cole Caulfield is playing through a shoulder injury. Cole Caulfield is playing through that shoulder injury. Armia is probably trying his hardest to play through that hip injury. Some of these guys are trying to play through these injuries, but we are a rebuilding team right now, so I don't think there's really that much to look at in terms of, hey, these guys are getting hurt a lot. That's alarming, NHL-wide, the Habs have had more injuries than most other teams over the last 5-ish years. That's not normal. Well, Paul, keep in mind, over the last 5-ish years, that's still counting Carey Price, who missed all of last season except like 4 games, who's missing all of this year. Paul Byron, who's missed almost all of last year and this year. That's counting like Carl Alzner, I'm pretty sure, was on the LTIR for like a year. Like, you can't really say they've had more injuries than most other teams. Like, it's like, and as well, go back to 5 years. This is counting all of these guys that have been out long term, and here that Paul Byron's probably never playing another National Hockey League game again. At least for the Canadiens, he isn't. Carey Price is never playing another National Hockey League game again in his. So like that, the Habs have had more injuries than most other teams, with a grain of salt because of certain injuries that have kind of just been counted from year to year. And also, just listen to players, or is it each individual injury they've had? Because that is also going to make a difference to counting up how many guys have been hurt and who's injuries in the National Hockey League. All right, I think we should finish up this. Game. Habs go to the power play, like I said. Hoffman's off the post. There's another one. We would have been tied 5-5. I don't know, man. Seems to me it's an area the Habs are being neglectful in. Better strength and conditioning would limit at least some of those injuries. Yeah, probably, Paul. I mean, it could probably help some of those injuries. But again, you take a look at, say, for example, Colorado, with how many injuries they're having. Does that mean they have a bad strength and conditioning facility? You look at, I think it was last year, I think it was Philadelphia, who had the most games lost to injury aside from us. I think it was Philadelphia. It might have been. Or Pittsburgh. Does that mean these teams don't have good conditioning and strength facilities? I feel like it's less of a, strength and conditioning needs to be something we look at, something so obscure that really doesn't matter in the long run, over, hey, these guys get hurt a lot. These guys, like it's less of an issue, I think, of the strength and conditioning stuff, and more, hey, these players are prone to injury and they got hurt. That sucks. I would say, Paul, I think it's just a little bit bigger than you're making it out to be, or it's a little bit simple. I think it's simpler. I think it's a lot simpler than you're making it out to be. It's an issue league wide, but Habs are one of the worst. Well, Paul, if it's an issue league wide, then the Habs being one of the worst really isn't that much of an issue. Then it's not really the Habs being one of the worst is an issue. It's just that the entire league then doesn't really care much about strength and conditioning. But like to be fair, like it's kind of whatever. Like it's a boring conversation, at least in my opinion. Leave that like I'd leave that up to like guys who actually care about that and guys who actually are involved in that field. At least to me, like I'm done with that with the strength and conditioning stuff. We are over 3 on the power play. Talking about the game, I maybe might want to talk about strength and conditioning instead. But the Senators will make it 4-0. An empty net goal for Mathieu Joseph. The empty net was there. I almost would have mistaken it for Jake Allen. Mathieu Joseph, the only way he can score goals, empty net. The Senators had actually missed one a little bit earlier. I think it was Alex DeBrincat who had missed it. Habs actually played fairly okay on that power play. We weren't letting the Senators clear 6-on-4. We were playing well. Just couldn't score. Then it's 5 Montembeault, or 5-0. Montembeault is back in net. There's a bad turnover from, I believe, Jordan or Justin Barron, one of the two. I think it was Jordan Harris. Thought the puck was going to go right. I thought the puck was going to go left. It went right. And Derick Brassard picks it up. It's a 5-0 goal lead there. Montembeault, you can't even really put that one on him. At that point, it's 4-0. He's thinking, oh, God, please don't let this one in. Please don't let this one in. And he probably stressed himself out on that one. Just like with fucking anybody, Jake Allen, Carey Price, any goaltender down late in the game like that, probably thinking, fuck, just let this game be over with. And you allow that shitty little weak goal, you know? So the final shots in the game were 36-28 for the Ottawa Senators, and they would end up taking it 5-0 in regulation. Oh boy. Overall, not a great game. not a great game by any stretch of the meaning. Just I think it's interesting. I think it's interesting how bad the Canadiens played tonight at certain points. Played okay at other points, but just for the most part, just I was really thinking, Jesus Christ, why can we not score? Why can't we get anything on a third string NHL goaltender? Because we couldn't. We genuinely could not get anything. Could not get anything. And it sucked. Genuinely, this game just sucked. That was the best way to put it. This game was a terrible game for the Canadiens. It was played horribly. And yeah, I think that the only reason that the Canadiens really pushed, or at least the only reason that we probably could have, we could have pushed, we could have tried. We had Anton Forsberg in net. It wasn't even Cam Talbot. It wasn't even their starter. We had Anton Forsberg in net. I don't know. This is one of those games where like you get a bit mad because you can't even score again on a third string goaltender. It's just, it's kind of like, come on, like you at least want to get one goal on probably genuinely the worst team in the National Hockey League. And people are gonna probably get pissy, like, oh Harry, how can you say the Senators are the worst team in the National Hockey League? They have a great top four. They have a great top six, a good top two, and an all right starting goaltender. I think they're tied actually in the NHL for the most forwards with 40 plus points this season, with the Canucks and the Sabres, and they are one of the worst teams in the National Hockey League. They aren't in the playoff spot. The Sabres are barely out of it, sure, but not many people really expected them to be even in the playoff race. And the Canucks are the fucking Canucks. The Senators have been outscored with 6 guys with 40 plus points this year. And we couldn't score one goal on those guys. We couldn't score a goal. Genuinely pathetic. Just at that point, I don't know. Like if Beck's getting sent down, hopefully that means that someone's healthy for next game. Maybe my best guess would be Sean Monahan and on contact jersey. I hope he was in a contact jersey today. I have no clue. And yeah. Again, just a terrible game. The Canadiens can rebound next game. Just gotta hope for that. And yeah, we'll see. We'll see. The thing that I was pissed off about, the thing that I was mad about tonight was the fact that we didn't even score. I couldn't care less that we didn't win. On the worst team in the NHL, we should have at least managed that. Doc's wide open net chance. Wide open net chance. One of the posts. Belzils maybe. We could have had 4 goals tonight, 5 goals tonight. We should have at least gone to overtime. At least in my opinion. I think we should have at least gone to overtime. Like, it's frustrating. It's frustrating. It's confirmed by the Habs themselves on Twitter that that Owen Beck is going back down to Laval. Rematch on there you go, Canadiens. All right. Canadiens Montreal addressing the media. It was confirmed 57 minutes ago, NZA. Forward Owen Beck will return to the Peterborough Petes tonight. Yes, he will. All right, so yeah. All right, so apparently as well, Cap Friendly also put out so Cap Friendly also put out oh sorry boys. They've also put out this really interesting thing from when we recalled Owen Beck under emergency conditions. These are the requirements that must be met in order to do so. It cannot be for more than 5 games. So the Canadiens played 1 game. He can't miss more than 1 CHL game. The Peterborough Petes played tonight. So my best guess would be that he gets sent down tonight. I'd assume they play either tomorrow or Monday. He plays then, and then maybe he's called back up for Tuesday if Sean Monahan isn't good to go. Or that's what I would assume. It has to be between November 1st and March 1st. So in the last month, you cannot use emergency call-ups. And apparently you must already have 2 emergency recalls on the roster. To recall someone from juniors, that is. Why sending him down? He could be helpful. Well, NCAA, clearly those people don't know the rules about the junior conditions. So, yeah, that's interesting. Yeah. The emergency recalls, by the way, are Rem Pitlick, excluding Owen Beck, he's been sent back down. Harvey Pinard and Alex Belzile, 2/3 of our 4th line, and our fucking first line left winger right now are all emergency loans. Quite frankly, I'd rather have no one on the first line left wing. Genuinely, I would rather zero first line left winger. Yeah, I don't like Red Pitlick anymore. I like it. Yeah. Yeah. And there we go. Someone saying no wave Pitlick. Yeah. So yeah, boyos. Whew. Yeah. Good decisions like they have a choice anyway. I mean, technically they do, because I think at that point they just get fined or lose their draft picks. Like, technically they have a choice, but like, yeah, they, no, technically, but yeah, technically, yeah, but yeah, no, they did not, I mean, yeah, they really didn't. They could have kept him up, but yeah, it was just something where they really didn't need to. So yeah, so yeah. Owen Beck getting sent down, I've got no problem with that. Honestly, I've really got no issue with that at all. It's kind of funny as well that they mentioned it immediately, immediately, like as soon as the game ended, it feels like announced that he was announced that he was announced that he was getting sent back down. It's like as soon as the fucking game ends, it's like Boom. All right, you're getting sent back down. Really funny. All right, so we're going to get into the final stats for the Canadiens and work our way into the outro. Nick Suzuki leads the Canadiens with 16 goals, 23 assists for 39 points. Goal, Cole Caulfield, who's currently injured, unfortunately, has 26 goals. 10 assists for 36 points. Kirby Dach, 10 goals, 23 assists, 33 points. Christian Dvorak, 7 goals, 13 assists, 20 points. Josh Anderson, 14 goals, 4 assists, 18 points. Sean Monahab, who's currently out, 6 goals, 11 assists, 17 points. Mike Hoffman, 8 goals, 8 assists, 16 points. Arbor Jacki, 5 goals, 8 assists, 13 points. Yevgeny Dadonov, 4 goals, 9 assists, 13 points. Caden Gooley, who's unfortunately hurt, has 2 goals, 11 assists, 13 points. David Savard, 1 goal, 11 assists, 12 points. Jonathan Drouin has 12 assists. Jake Evans, who him and Drouin are both hurt, 2 goals, 9 assists, 11 points. Jordan Harris has a goal, 10 assists for 11 points. Yaroslav Kavsky, 4 goals, 6 assists, 10 points. Brendan Gallagher, 4 goals, 5 assists, 9 points. Yoel Armia, 3 goals, 4 assists, 7 points. Those injured. Mike Matheson has a goal, 6 assists. So good, they've cloned Mike Hoffman and made 2 of him. Michael Pezzetta, 3 goals, 3 assists, 6 points. Jonathan Kovacevic and Joel Edmondson each with goal, 5 assists for 6 points. Rem Pillik has 3 goals, 2 assists, 5 points. Raphael Harvey-Pinard with 3 goals, 1 assist, 4 points. Chris Weidman, Justin Barron, and Alex Belzile each with 4 helpers. Anthony Richard with a goal and an assist. Jesse Ullinen with 2 assists. Jake Allen with an assist. Arbor Jacki has 8 fights. Michael Pezzetta has 4. Caden Gooley and Jake Evans each with 2. Kirk as well. So yeah, guys, that is going to do it for today's stream, at least in my opinion. No, this is going to be the end of the stream. Thank you guys for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe. Favorite channel includes everything which includes, but it's not limited to YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, chaos. My name is Rice. Subscribe and subscribe to the name. It's much greatly appreciated. Thank you guys again for watching. My name is Rice. Links to description on the Amazon list, the bill box on the PayPal, the Discord, the Letterboxd, the Patreon account are all down there as well. Thank you for watching. My name is Rice again, and I don't always remember no matter how bad we were last year, how fairly okay we are like this year. Go Habs, go, baby. Thank you guys again for watching. My name is Rice again, and I'm out. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye, guys. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye, guys. Love you guys. See you guys. Hey, good night, Unitap. Hey, Jag Luke is coming in right at the end of the stream as a diehard little Suns fan. GG's. No hate here. What a game. Hey, Jag, fucking name personally as a Habs fan, but you know what? Hey, GG's for sure, man. Hopefully Tuesday is a lot more fun. Really hope Tuesday is a lot more fun because, God, I don't want another game like this. I really don't want another game like this. But yeah, just GG's really, and yeah. Hey, good night, Unitap. Thank you for coming by. Jag Lucas again, thank you. I apologize that you came right at the end of the stream. If you want to go back and rewatch the last 51 minutes, that'd be nice. Yeah, guys, again, that's going to do it. Thank you guys for watching. And my name is Harry Skin, and I'm out. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye, guys. Love you guys. See you guys. Bye. All right, let's go, baby. W stream, baby. Cole Caulfield is elite.